Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Salsa Kings Live. We are here, episode 14, and the title of today's episode is Arts for Autism. I was just speaking with our guest speaker now. Wow, what a treat we have for you guys. Definitely a topic that really needs to be the awareness needs to be spread. We want to really educate everybody on what's happening here, and kind of get everybody on the same page when it comes to this, because as I learned some incredible ratios, if you will, and percentages about what's happening with the population and the youth and the kids, and adults as well, and how we're responding to this, and everything, and all of the blessings that are coming out of it as well. We definitely want to be able to spread the word about this, and how we can continue to make a difference. And people like our guests are definitely making that happen. She's currently an applied behavior analysis therapist, aka ABA therapist. She's the creator and developer of the Spectrum Dance Therapy program, which is currently apparently the only dance therapy program for kids with autism in South Florida. Did that back in 2013. And then she ended up developing her own non-for-profit, which is called Arts for Autism. And now, I mean, the fact is that she does this exclusively. She's an absolute pro, 100%. This is what she does. This is what she's passionate about. Not only just for the arts, but for dance in particular as well, is what she's really passionate about. So we have a really great show coming for you guys. I'm particularly curious about this topic, about everything that's going on, and I'm going to be going to be asking a million questions. So definitely, guys, tune in. Spread the word, hit the share button as we go ahead and go through this journey together. First and foremost, definitely want to take a moment to talk about our sponsor, which is mydanceshirts.com. I took the liberty of going ahead and choosing my dance mode on shirt today. So go ahead and check that website out. There's definitely a bunch of really cool options on there. And not just as generic dance. There's your salsas, your bachatas, your tap dance, your ballet, your jazz, etc. So for all styles whatsoever, go ahead, hop on mydanceshirts.com. You're going to be able to see a great selection there in both men's, women's, and kids options as well. So guys, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on our guest. Let's see if I can go ahead and do this right here. Give me 1 second. All right. Audrey, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you, Audrey? Welcome.
Doing awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So again, I just put in the word for you about everything that you've been doing this far, about your total badass. You're a pro. This is what you do. So I guess kind of want to open up with saying, oh, first of all, thank you for coming on, of course, but more so, like, how long have you been doing this? What kind of got you into this? Where is there someone related to you in your family? This has been something that you've been passionate about forever? Tell us the before, so that we can kind of know what's going on now, and everything, all the amazing things that you're doing now with this.
Absolutely. I get this question a lot, surprisingly. A lot of people think that I either have a child or a relative who is on the spectrum. And no. So it really started as early as 13 years old for me, when, in school, they give you those projects like, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Right.
I was on a dance team, and I had girls on my team who were hard of hearing. They were deaf. And working with them really inspired me to work with people with any sort of disabilities. And I wanted to have a dance studio for kids who were deaf. And that was my whole project. That's where I saw myself in 10 years. And so literally 10 years later, on my 23rd birthday, I started Spectrum Dance Therapy. Now, everywhere in between that, I was either volunteering my time, or I was a college student and working, and everything was always surrounded by dance. I worked for a long time in Aventura Dance Studio, so there I was surrounded by dance all the time. And then in school, I was studying developmental disabilities. So learning to work with kids of all different abilities. And
Okay.
autism really resonated with me. Didn't have much experience with it other than every time I heard a story, I would start crying and be moved. And I was like, okay, clearly I'm passionate about this. I need
Nice.
to do something with it. And so when I graduated with my master's back in 2012, I was a little bit discouraged in the field that I was in, which you mentioned was applied behavior analysis, working with kids
Right.
with autism. And I wanted to step away from that field and wanted to see how can I combine it with my passion for dance. And I saw that there was nothing here in South Florida. They had a program in California. They had a program in New York. They didn't have anything here. So I flew out to California and I got certified in what's called autism movement therapy and brought that back over here. That was October of 2000.
Nice.
And by February of 2013, so a few months later, I hit the ground running. I took the principles of autism movement therapy developed by Joe and Lara and my experiences as an applied behavior analyst, combined that together to develop spectrum dance therapy. And we just started that program. The demand was huge. And I saw such growth in these kids that I knew I had to keep going. I had to find a way to make it work.
Wow.
And the parents struggle to pay for classes. And, you know, the more serious types of therapies, that's where their money was going. So dance was kind of falling off of the list for good reason. I understood that. So I'm like, I need to make this a nonprofit organization. This needs to be available for free. So I pushed through, did what I had to do to make it a nonprofit organization, started the Arts for Autism Foundation. And now all of my students are on scholarships. My kids do not pay anything to take my classes. So that's how we got here today.
Wow. 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 That's phenomenal. Okay. So you found that autism resonated with you.
Mm-hmm.
You then went and did your research and found that there was nothing here. As you were currently teaching, or you were teaching at the time at Aventura Dance Studio, or you had already finished your dance career?
No, I was still, I finished my dance career, I would say 3 years ago when my daughter was born. I stopped like literally a month before she was born. But I still worked with Aventura Dance Crews up until very recent. So dance has always been a huge part of my life. Like I didn't let that go because I know what dance does for people. Let's just say it has a big impact. So dance is always going to be a part of my life. But definitely working with kids with autism is something that I needed to focus more of my time on and more of my energy, because that's where my passion is. And that's where I feel the void is in autism awareness and services to include them in our community. Specifically, in my view, was include children with autism and adults with autism in the arts community. That's my mission. So they have something to offer too. So that's
right. So then again, you did your research. You found that there was nothing here. And then you left to go to, you said California, and you got a certification there. So you made sure that, obviously, of course, you got your education. You knew what it was that you were talking about. Then you came. How long was that?
That certification was just a weekend program.
Okay.
It was eye-opening to me, specifically the first day, just to see how you run a class with so many kids on the spectrum at one time.
Wow.
And learning the tips of how to organize yourself to be successful. But the beautiful thing about it is that because I was an ABA therapist, the behavior challenges that you see in a classroom, I already knew how to manage it, or at least I had a foundation of how to manage it.
Right.
So that's where I saw the magic happened, was combining my love and my passion for dance and how to structure a class and how to speak in a class, how to teach in a class, and pairing that with knowing how to deal with problem behaviors in a class with kids on the spectrum. So putting that together was the magic sauce for a successful program. we're the only program right now, not because we're the only ones that have tried, but we're the only ones that have stuck around because that like symbiosis of dance
Sure.
and ABA was what made it successful for us and for the kids mainly, not for me, but for the kids.
Right, right, right. Well, yeah, that's what I would figure would create anything that's successful when you have two independent ideas that are new and that are fresh that stick together, and then you obviously, of course, the dedication and the hard work and blah, 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 and it goes on and on. Absolutely, 100%. So yeah, okay, so that's awesome. Okay, so then you came back, and then immediately with that knowledge is when you created that program. There was issues charging.
Yes.
And then well, I mean, I guess that just makes sense with everything when it comes to that. So then you created the non-for-profit, which I particularly have a little bit of experience in, and knowing that that's not easy. that form, what is it, the 501c3c, right? That form of time.
501c3. Yeah, that's no joke.
Yeah.
The whole college education going through that process.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, so then so you made that happen, and then what? So then from there you just been going. Is it a physical location?
Yes. So we've been for the past, well, we started off in a therapy clinic where I worked giving ABA. That didn't work out. Just because it wasn't a dance studio. Like I wanted my kids in a dance studio with mirrors and wood floor,
Nice,
so we moved to Aventura Dance Studio, obviously, because that's where I was working. And they closed down. So we spent the past over 3 years at Dancing Through Life up in Davie. And now recently we just partnered with Miami Dance City in Miami Lakes. And they've been helping us tremendously, donating the space to us, supporting us in every way. So we're super excited about that move. So now starting the new term in January, we'll be in Miami Lakes.
Beautiful. That's definitely really exciting. Okay. So then now what are we talking about? Is it a weekly thing? Is it a schedule that's all the way open through? I'm assuming it's around the schedule of this current dance studio that you're at now. Is that right?
Well, basically our classes are on Saturdays. I realize that my kids come in fresh and they're ready for like a Saturday dance party.
Nice.
Where during the week they have so much going on between school and therapies, other types of therapies, that they were coming to me too tired. So our classes are only on Saturdays. And before it's funny because before it was a nonprofit, it was just those paying customers that had access to the class. Sure. Then once we became a nonprofit, I really wanted to get as many kids as possible under a scholarship. So it then became where only if you got granted the scholarship were you able to join my class. So if you didn't get the scholarship, there was no other option. But now at Miami Dance City, because they have such a large space with multiple rooms, we're able to service now, instead of 30 kids at a time, we're able to service double that. So we're able to service 60 kids at a time. So if you don't get the scholarship, you still have the option to pay monthly, and these will be two separate classes going on at the same time and having more kids. So the goal is to be reaching more kids now. So we're definitely expanding the options there.
That is absolutely wonderful. That's beautiful. God bless you. That's really, that's awesome. That's really, really awesome. Okay. So, all right. So my curiosity is kicking in now. Okay. So I feel that there's kind of like a very much like a taboo-ness to autism and the like, I guess maybe just disabilities in general, not because, I mean, I guess I can only really speak for myself, but more so because I just don't know any better. Like, I feel like I could say the wrong thing and either offend somebody or hurt somebody. So it's just like easier for me to just not, like, I don't want to say not pay attention, because I don't want to not pay attention, but I just don't want to like mess up because I'm so ignorant when it comes to that, because I feel like, perhaps there's just not enough organizations like yours that are giving awareness and education to the community, even for people that are curious like myself, access to that type of stuff, as simple as, okay, even better for you, what are like some frequently asked questions that you get, like, for whether it be regular common people, whether it be people in your program, people trying to sign up for the program, like, what do you get all the time? Because that's probably what's on my head without even knowing it.
Yes. So I'm so glad you asked that, because honestly, there's very large organizations like Autism Speaks that really tries to raise awareness, right? And they have this whole day in April, Autism Awareness Month, and everything goes blue, and it's lighted up blue for autism awareness. And what I've realized is that I still come across so many people that I'm like, you don't know about autism? But they're like, no, I have no idea. And I'm like, you haven't heard about Lighted Up Blue? Like, have you realized that the Empire State Building, the Eiffel Tower, like all over the world, things are lighting up blue for autism? No, I never noticed. Like you're living under a rock, but it's okay, because clearly the message is not getting across. And basically, if you hear autism, which likely you are, because the rates show like 1 in 59 children are being diagnosed with autism. So at some point or another, you're going to come across either a child or an adult with autism. And basically, you just need to first take a deep breath. They're the same as you and me. There's nothing different about them. Approach them like you would approach anybody else. Now, have the background knowledge that somebody with autism means that they have issues with social skills. So some of the typical things that you would deem normal in a conversation, they might not make eye contact with you. They'll shy away. They may not answer you if you ask them a question like, hey, what is your name? How are you? How old are you? What school do you go to? You know, the typical questions. By any means does that mean don't ask. I would still ask, but if they don't answer you, don't make it awkward. Just, you know, if you're like, hey, what's up? What's your name? And it's a little boy and they don't answer you and they look away, just be like, oh, your name is Spider-Man? Cool, I love Spider-Man. And like totally change the conversation, answer your own question, and just try to make light of the situation. So they might have social quirks to them. Some of them might have behavior challenges, meaning they might suffer from severe meltdowns. So being in social environments where there's a lot of people, loud noises, bright lights, cold temperatures, like any sort of a sensory difference between something that we might overlook, they feel it like tenfold. So you might see those kids by covering their ears, or they're flapping, or they're sitting in a corner and they want to get out, or they're on the floor having a severe meltdown. You'll see this in malls, supermarkets, movie theaters. So parents of kids with autism, they try to avoid those situations, because what happens is that people look at them as if, is this just a child who's misbehaving? And you have people going up to them and saying, you need to control your kid. And it's like, that's not fair to say, because in this day and age, more likely than not, if a child is having a meltdown in public, it's because they're on the spectrum and they're dealing with something that's probably very painful to them. Sensorily, their senses are very heightened. The third thing is that they're delayed in their speech. So some of them may not speak, or if they do speak, they only speak their needs and their wants. They won't engage in conversation or spontaneous, just like, hey, how are you? What's up? What'd you do yesterday? Like, they don't care for that kind of stuff. So just the basics of what they need is what us as therapists are trying to gain out of them. Because once they're able to communicate their needs and their behaviors, calm down. Because imagine if you want something and you can't say it, how are you going to act? You're probably going to lose your mind. So this is where some of this comes from. And so just remembering their social skills, they might be delayed with their speech, and they're going to have some behavior issues because some of them have a lot of sensory sensitivity. So you might see them act a certain way because of it.
Okay, so then as far as how can I say it? I guess why? Like,
Why?
is it because there's so much, is there so much happening in their sensory? Is that why they're responding? Is that why that they're responding now? Because there's obviously a why. There's obviously a why.
But that's the thing. So why autism is a huge puzzle, and which is, it's funny that I
Right.
say puzzle because the symbol for autism is a puzzle piece.
Right.
But so there's two parts to answer that. Why autism is one part of it, and that is yet to be answered. This is a very controversial topic. You have people that blame vaccines, but that has been debunked. But still, some parents are adamant. They're like, my child was typically developing. They had a vaccine, and within a week, they completely regressed and went backwards. And now they don't talk. They don't look at me. They don't, nothing. So there's the vaccine thing. There's the people who believe it's a genetic link. And they have found, research has shown that it's not just one gene, which is why they don't all look the same. It's a whole like 20 something, it's like a whole bunch of genes that they've realized that people with autism tend to have deficiencies in those genes, which is why you meet one child with autism, you met one child with autism, meaning you won't meet two kids that are exactly the same. Every child is completely different in their needs and in their abilities. Just like you and I are different. They're completely different. Now, why do they experience those things is a different question. It's going on in their brains. Their brain just processes information differently than you and I would process the information. That's it.
Okay.
So it's neurological.
Got it. Okay, so yeah, that's more of my right. That's the one word I answer, I guess you could say, is just that the process is just completely different. So then it goes into now, how far along are we on this research? Is the, you said 1 in 59? Is that growing? Is that going to continue growing?
Tremendously growing every year. And that's partially because of awareness. More doctors are being aware of it. Because doctors are the first people, you notice something's up with your kid, you're going to take them to a pediatrician. And a lot of times, I mean, there's nothing in medical books about autism. So you take them to your pediatrician expecting them to know. They don't know. And so diagnoses were being swept under the rug, and we're just not being diagnosed. Where now there's so much more awareness. We still have work to do, but there is more awareness. So there is more diagnoses because of it. But also, we can't ignore that there really is just more cases. We're seeing more and more of it happening every day. And everybody has their opinions about it, the environment, the toxins, the hormones, everything we're doing is like wrong on so many levels when it comes to everything.
Right.
That autism still, falls under that. It's just, it's scary to see the numbers rise. But if you think about it, in this day and age, we are moving away from socializing. Socializing and social skills are kind of, I feel like they're going to be extinct at some point. Like the Steve Jobs and the Einsteins of the world is going to be normal, because that's where we're headed. Technology is so advanced that really these kids are going to just have a brain for what we need, which is technology. And these kids are brilliant at it. So who knows, really, when it comes to that.
Gotcha. Wow, that's insane. Well, I thank you for that. Okay, so now I guess bringing this back to center, if you will, where does the arts, and particularly dance, where does that fit in? How does that work? How is that? I mean, spectrum, very clear. Dance, very clear. Therapy, very clear. How does dance fit in those three words to make it something as successful as it's been for you, and when relating to the kids, and obviously what you were saying before?
Dance is the key to it all, because dance is movement, period. And for a lot of us, dance is therapeutic. We can honestly say, those of us watching, listening, we have some experience with dance if you're following Salsa Kings. And you walk into the dance studio with something heavy on your heart and you walk out of there feeling better. So
Amen.
dance is a therapy without the dance instructor even being a therapist. You know, just the music, just the moving, the environment, socializing with other people, that is therapeutic in and of itself, right? And then for these kids, you're incorporating certain movements, that's what makes it a specific dance therapy class, is that kids with autism tend to use one side of their brain. Okay. So you tell them to do this with both hands, they will constantly do it with just one hand.
Wow.
Tell them to do this, and they will just do, one or the other, right? So they're only using one side of their brain. So when you do bilateral movements or across the body movements, you're literally exercising the entire brain.
Right.
When you do that, you're activating the right and the left at the same time. So when you start like literally you're working out the brain and activating it, that's what these kids need. So it's a workout for their brain with the moves that I do in the class. So every move is there for a reason. Okay. So whether it be a bilateral movement, or if they're rocking side to side, or they're rocking forward and back, these are there to regulate their mood, to calm them down. Think about you as a child. Your mom would rock you to sleep, or rock you side to side to calm you down, or shush you when you were crying, right? And this stimulates another part of your brain called the amygdala, which helps regulate your mood and relax you. So if you do and you incorporate these moves into your dance class, now it's therapeutic as well. And these kids that have sensory issues are going to leave feeling so much more relaxed because they've let it out in an effective way, in a conducive way, in an appropriate way, as opposed to, they're talking to you and they're just rocking back and forth. Now it's appropriate because now it's a dance move, and it's an opportunity for them to socialize and get to know each other. I incorporate a bunch of different things, circle time activities. They have to give me their name and a dance move. We work on creativity. We work on memory. We work on gross motor. We work on speech and communication. There's so much research behind pairing music and words together with movement that just helps your memory. I mean, when you study for a test and you put it to a song, you'll remember it. A song comes on from 20 years ago and you remember all the words. You don't forget.
Yeah, true that.
So a lot of my kids have said their first words in my class, and it's because it's to music. So not only is it fun, but it goes back to the brain. So we're exercising the brain the entire time in my class. Everything is there for a reason, but they don't see it as therapy. They see it as fun. They see it as a dance party. So in a 2-hour ABA session that I have with my kids during the week versus a 45, 50-minute class, dance therapy class with me, I get more out of them in those 45 minutes than I do in a 2-hour session of behavior modification.
Boom.
Go figure.
Boom.
It's fun.
That's huge.
Put music on, engage with them, act like a Disney character, be bubbly, be happy, come with that energy. You're going to get so much more out of this.
Right. There's something that I learned very recently, probably as of this week, the difference between effectiveness and efficiency.
Yes.
And I'm like, what? And apparently it's exactly what you're talking about, is that you would figure 2 hours of direct, attacking
one-on-one.
Right. And you come across more walls as opposed to this 45 minutes of what could seem to be less effective. Less efficient, but you're being more effective in your results because of the way in which you're going about it, which seems to be absolutely wonderful. And it obviously, of course, if it's working,
I'm more efficient and I'm more effective because I'm doing it in less time and I'm being more effective.
That's true too. It's true too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The therapy is necessary. We work on other things, and the therapy is necessary too. But what I really want parents to remember is that they're still kids. And they still need to have fun, and they still need to have a creative outlet, whether it's dance, music, something in the arts, painting, something creative for them to express themselves. Because especially if they're not verbally expressing themselves, they need to let it out somehow.
Right.
And don't let them lose their childhood. You know, this is super important. This is a critical time. Let them have fun. Yes, the therapy is there, school is there. That's fine. Okay, great, do it. But allow time for them to be kids, have fun. And if it could be therapeutic and they not know it, like even better, you know?
Right.
But
Absolutely.
do it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, I mean, I definitely hope, you know, as research, it's funny because I find like research, right, which is what everyone respects, and scientists, right, is actually pointing more towards arts, freedom of not freedom of expression, but expression in general. And as what was it? I heard something today. I think it was something like, what was it? I think it was painting. I think that's what it was. It was like painting is now scientifically proven to make you happier or something. I'm like, yeah, like right. So it's just like, okay, so like the same way for you, like you're saying like, oh, you don't know, like the Eiffel Tower is lighting up in blue, like you didn't know. Like I feel like that's the same thing. Like at least our community. I mean, that's why we love it so much, because we directly can experience that within ourselves, and we know what it does to us and our mood and how it changes us. And I think it changes our life, not just emotionally, but how we process things.
Like it's an element of beauty in our life.
Absolutely, 100% in multiple ways. I would like to take a minute, guys, really quick, and I would like to show you. I'd like to feature a video here that that Audrey came out here on Local 10 News about her program. So let me see if I can pop this up here. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let's see if I can do this right. Okay, beautiful. All right, so let me hit play here and let's see how this goes. Spectrum Dance Therapy on Channel 10.
I don't hear it. Can they?
With her students. Through dance, she's reaching kids with autism in an exciting and fun way.
Children with autism tend to use one side of their brain, so
hey!
The class focuses on body movement, speech, and expression to get these kids interacting with one another socially. The children enjoy it so much, they don't even know it's therapy.
Bingo.
There we go. It is proven to excel movement, coordination, memory, speech, and social skills. So that's areas that typically kids with disabilities tend to lack.
In the U.S., autism affects 1 out of every 54 boys and 1 in every 2.
More prevalent in boys.
Poor social interaction, verbal and nonverbal communication, as well as repetitive behaviors.
By a long shot.
Symptoms of autism tend to emerge between the ages of 2 and 3.
Nice.
Ryan Levy calls the class his dance party, but it's a party with a purpose.
Nice.
And his mom says the therapy is working.
When he started out, he was kind of all over the place, not following directions, and little by little, he started joining in the class and participating in the circle time.
Bingo.
Now he does the whole class, follows directions, you know, his confidence level has improved. My main goal is to see them in a typical dance class where they can go and they can take hip hop, jazz, ballet, all these different disciplines in dance and be able to follow an instructor
And they're going to invite siblings of our students to join that class as well for free, and also encourages parent participation. Classes are held on Saturdays in Sunny Isles.
Bingo. Very nice. Very nice. Awesome. Wow, that's wonderful. Okay. So wow, so that statistic that got me huge there.
The rate in numbers for girls has gone up. That video is probably like 4 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was like about 4 years ago, that video. So the statistics have gone up since then in girls. My classes used to be only boys. Now I have more girls than boys in my class. For the first time, I could get tutus and all this stuff for my girls, which
Nice.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
right.
But yes, statistically, it is more prevalent in boys, which is super interesting and fascinating. And still, after all this research, we still don't even know why. But yeah,
it's so crazy. I feel like when we start to get a hang on things or start to try and figure stuff out, it's like just whole new curveballs just come.
absolutely.
And it's like, and if this is going to be, the next generation, what are we doing to obviously, of course, uplift, because that's the only option that we have. I mean, so
that's why, like, it's super controversial, and I've been a little bit more vocal about it now, is that organizations like Autism Speaks, who focus on research, and it's all this money is being poured into research and research and research and research, and we're getting nowhere. Like, where are the answers? We don't have answers. And it's like, let's drop the autism awareness. Like, it's time to take action. Like, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to educate yourself?
Right.
How are you going to do more? How are you going to help fund programs that are actually doing something for the kids that's going to be beneficial to these kids? Let's stop trying to figure out why. Okay, it's happening. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to help them? How are we going to mold our next generation? And that's where it's at. That's where every one of my posts is #autism action plan, because we need to have a plan to take action on this, because this is a serious thing. It is an epidemic. People say it all the time. It's an epidemic. It sounds like a scary thing, but if we take action, it's not scary at all. Just educate ourselves, really. That's all it takes.
Right. Absolutely. And then obviously, of course, then from there, developing that action plan. Hi, Yvette. How you doing? Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it. But definitely having that action plan behind us as well, to then be able to, apply that education to where obviously, of course, we can move forward with it. So that's awesome. Okay. So now, we know what you're doing, which is absolutely beautiful. God bless. Sincerely. Thank you. So now what? Okay. So now, fast forward, 10 years. What are you doing? How have you spread yourself or duplicated yourself, if at all, if that's even something that you want to do?
Yes.
Right. So where's all this going, or is this going to increase? I think we had already said that it probably is. So with that being said, then, I guess we'll need more programs like the one that you have, or, just an extension of the one that you have. I'll let you take the floor from here.
Absolutely. That's been my biggest mission. And that's how I live my life. I constantly give myself goals, and I achieve all the ones that I set out for myself. And after it becoming a nonprofit and getting funding for all of my kids, it is now, this year was the shifting of the gears towards certifying and training more people to do what I do. Because at this point, I'm only one person. So I can only do so much. And in training others, it's a huge way to take action and inspire others to take action. And in certifying other people, so training and certifications are two different things. In certifying other people, it is to inspire them to start programs like mine. And this isn't a field to make you millions, but you will be rich in your heart. That is for sure. And there's so many dance studios that I know would love to accept children with autism or adults with autism, but don't know how to deal with it. So saying, okay, let's get certified, let's get trained, let's learn about this. We need to be inclusive. We need to include everybody in this dance floor, on this stage. And the only way to do that was for me to start training other people. So I hold more community trainings. I have one coming out this Saturday to teach people on how to deal with problem behaviors in a classroom setting, in a dance class, in a classroom, at home, on a daily basis. How do you deal with these problem behaviors? Because if you know how to deal with the problem behaviors, you got kids with autism in your back pocket. And honestly, I use these same principles on my child who's not on the spectrum. I use it on my husband who's on the spectrum. So these are principles of behavior, like how to deal with this stuff. And that's really my mission moving forward, is to spread awareness through education. Because when people are educated, they're more accepting of what's going on around them. And, just learn a little bit more. It doesn't hurt to learn and to grow. And the impact you're going to make is tremendous. And however you want to use it, by combining it with your own skills and your own passions, that's a beautiful thing,
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. It does not hurt to learn and to grow. Thank you for that. I appreciate that very much so. Very, very, very much so. Like you said, you had said, that you're sure that there would be a bunch of, dance studios or just spaces in general that would love to be able to, I'm in that boat. The fact is that exactly how you said, I wouldn't even know how to start to spell begin of where to go. Like it's more like being able to, I don't know, maybe create an outreach specifically to recruit leaders of spaces. I don't know, but like I would love to do whatever. Sign me up to whatever you got like right now on how to do that, because we do have this space, and I don't know not one dance studio that doesn't have 1 hour available in the week that could offer that space and make that happen. And the amount of, even on a business level, the publicity and the good corporate social responsibility benefits, it goes on. And even if you're doing it for completely selfish reasons, it still makes all the sense in the world.
Which was mind-boggling to me. And talk about controversial. I'm gonna put people on blast. I'm sorry. Do you give me permission?
Go ahead. Absolutely.
Because seriously, I've worked with dance studios already, and it was not a partnership. It was not a come in and I want to learn about what you do.
Right.
I want to see what you do. I want to help in the mission of what you do.
Right.
No, it was come in, pay rent, make sure you clean up, bye.
Right.
And then here's this girl who approaches me and she's like, I'm clueless. I know nothing about autism, but I want to learn, and I have a dance studio and I have space.
Right.
And I want to donate that to you because I love what you're doing and I want to learn from you. And I want to grow with you. And she's blasting this everywhere. And I guarantee you we're going to get media coverage. And I guarantee you her dance studio is going to be all over the place, because it's a blessing when you invest in yourself. Yes, she's probably going to reap the financial aspect of it too. Absolutely, she will. But that's not even what she's worried about. She just wants to learn and include more people in her dance studio, in the community. Like, that's what it's about. Take time aside from yourself to educate yourself on something that is beyond you, and then if it's going to make you money, great, that's a blessing.
And that's a byproduct. I think, the finance and all that kinds of stuff is a byproduct, is a representation, of who you are and what you can handle. That's definitely, definitely a topic for conversation. But and it's all in itself. But the idea being that, I think it just goes back to also at the same time, we might be changing subjects here, but kind of maybe just generic business principles and kind of just sharing the care and the want, not necessarily just because you're a nice person, but, just standard business ethics. Being able to work with one another to obviously, of course, because you're sharing the same resources, well, then you're going to have a mutual care, or there should be a mutual care for what's being taken place. But yes, I mean, as far as for that's concerned, I'm literally at the end of this interview, please let me know what we can do to help, because it only makes sense. It only makes sense. And like I said, what you're doing is absolutely wonderful. Seriously, we need to continue spreading this. However, we can continue to just continue to spread the awareness. And like I said, more so for people who have no idea what's going on, like myself, it allows people to be educated, because everybody does really want to, but perhaps doesn't necessarily know where to look, or they don't know. So you don't know what you don't know, right? So that's where things kind of get
coming
tricky.
and hanging with me for 2 hours, at a training certification is a fun way to learn. And I guarantee you, between my knowledge and expertise and my passion, you're gonna come out of there like a new person. Some girl told me, like, after your session, I felt like I just went to church. Like she was like so moved and inspired, and that's really what I want to do, is just inspire more people. It doesn't have to be about autism. It doesn't even have to be about dance, but just learn something new and use that to fuel you to fulfill your purpose and your passion and make an impact in this world, connect with others and make an impact. So.
Amen, girlfriend. Raise the roof on that one. Raise the roof on that one. Yay, yay. Good for you. Good for you, Audrey. Audrey, is an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you so much for your time.
Give me a platform. Any opportunity I have to speak on this, I will jump on it and continue to spread awareness. And I have a training coming up this Saturday. Okay. I'll take you up on it.
There you go. That sounds good. That sounds good to me. Beautiful. Beautiful. That sounds great. Again, a million thank yous. Guys, where can people reach you?
Yes. So spectrumdancetherapy.com. You can read my bio there. You can read about our program. You can sign up if you do have somebody who would be interested in my classes. Enrollment is open for scholarships. So you would go to spectrumdancetherapy.com, contact us, fill out the scholarship application, turn that in ASAP, because it will be closed soon. And my email is spectrumdancetherapy@gmail.com. If you have any questions, you can also follow us on Instagram. arts_for_autism is our Instagram.
Give me 1 second while I type that out. arts_for_.
That's our IG.
IG, yay. IG, arts_for_autism.
Yes, and I talk about a lot of controversial stuff there, a lot of content for parents in general, or people who just want to learn about kids.
Beautiful. Okay, so Spectrum Dance Therapy is the program, and Arts for Autism is the foundation. Mm-hmm. Got it, a nonprofit.
For free. Correct.
Gotcha. Perfect. And you said that is it your new location that's going to be coming up, or now?
Yes. Our new location coming up starting January 2019 will be at Miami Dance City in Miami Lakes.
Miami Dance City. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, they've been amazing.
Wonderful. Awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, Ashley, thank you so much for putting that in the comments for us. I appreciate it. Ashley Sofia Garcia is backing you up.
She teaches my class with me. She teaches my older kids, and she's fantastic. She's my cousin, but she's a rock star.
Beautiful. Amen. I love it. Awesome. Well. Perfect. Guys, thank you all so much for hopping on board with us and listening to Audrey's message and everything that that she had to say about this very, very important topic. So again, Audrey, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for doing what you're doing. And you have Salsa King's full support 100%.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Comment the word underneath, comment the word join if you want to go ahead and receive notifications via Facebook Messenger Live to go ahead and get notified of when it is that we do bring on a guest. Also, at the same time, if you're listening to the podcast version of this, text the word join to the number 69922. Let me go ahead and put that here in the comments as well. We're going to go ahead and text the word join to 69922. That's going to go ahead and you're going to receive a message straight to your phone about when it is that we're bringing in a new interviewee about a subject that they are particularly passionate about. This is episode 14. Episode 12 was just released on the podcast version. So guys, if you're watching this live now, go ahead and hop on to either your iTunes or your Spotify, look up Salsa Kings Live, and you'll be able to go ahead and see the last interview with Mario and Jeanette on there as well. Again, thank you so much, Audrey. Appreciate it. Thank you all for your time. Love you guys. See you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.